It's the tip of the iceberg with Trey Watts.
Welcome back, Burg and Burgettes. This is the tip of the iceberg with your boy, Trey Watts. And today we gotta talk cinema, man. This Friday, me and my lady, we went to go see the new movie Barbarians. It was okay. I'm a big fan now of scary movies. I used to be a huge chicken. So the very first time I can ever remember sitting in a movie theater seat was back in 2002 with my pops, and he actually took me to see the Spider-Man movie with your boy Tobey Maguire. To give you a brief reference, I was so scared I would close my eyes when the Green Goblin would come on the screen, and my dad would lean over and pinch me and tell me I had to watch the scene. So nowadays, when I want to go see scary movies, it's kind of a shocking thing to me, but I'm happy to know that it's just a movie. It really can't get me, so I watch it with full intent to be scared. So I've seen a lot. I've seen, the run-of-the-mill The Exorcist. I've seen Cabin in the Woods, your Chucky. I've seen It, and boy, don't even get me started on the new age of It. I would say I've seen a lot. So I would say I also am well-rounded in the realm of scary movies. So I could tell you when a good one and a bad one comes out. And my opinion, guys, the Berg's opinion, Barbarian is a it's a stinker. It's not really what it perceives it to be. And if you guys like that, I'm a huge fan of A24 film. Shout out to A24. But this one was just not my cup of tea. Now, it might be yours. I'm looking it up on Rotten Tomatoes now. It got a 92 fresh tomato meter and a 75 audience score. Guys, I mean, on IMDb, it's saying it got a 7.6 out of 10, and the popularity was a 61. The numbers aren't that too far off, but to me, I just wasn't really rocking with it. The commercials and the marketing told me one thing, and so I went in thinking it was more of a jump scare type film, when really it was more of a creepy type film, one that you would just be like, that's weird, that's nasty, but not. I can't even remember a few jump scares, like maybe one or two. Now, is this movie horrible? No. Would I see it again? No. Would I watch it walking in as a first-time viewer? Yeah, they could get my $11. They did, actually. They did it because I'm a Stubbs member, so we saw it on Tuesday. Got that little discount. But shout out Stubbs. I would not say this is a scary movie. A scary movie, in my opinion, if you guys have ever seen that movie, The Strangers, and I'm going to look it up and see what year it came out. That movie came out in 2008. Also, let me do some quick math. 1996, 4. So I was 12. Okay, and this movie, guys, let me tell you, this movie had me right here, knees tucked to my chest, hands to my ears, and eyes shut, sealed. I watched the first maybe 10 minutes of the movie, and as soon as the first scary thing appeared on that silver screen, your boy was tucked like a turtle. I could not move until the credits started going, and I also had to be nudged to tell me I was not rocking with that movie. Your boy, I feel, was too young to even be in that screening of it, but that one scarred me. I would say that's my base of a scary movie. I have not dived deep into those black market scary movies that everybody on TikTok promotes. I haven't seen those like Xing Shang's Times 7. I've not seen any of those. Hostel. There's different variations of scary to me. You got more of a gore factor, or you have more of a shock factor, in my opinion. Now, we have those people that are going to go see every Halloween for God knows what reason. You can't talk them out of going to see it, but it's, I guess, the thing to do every year. But not me. I would not say those are scary movies. I would just say those are in their own realm of cult classic. I know comments are going to kill me. But what would you guys say is a scary movie, in your opinion? One that you would say really solidified, made you scared, you locked the doors, called your friend. Let me know in the comments what scary movie really just shocked you guys to the core, just made you not want to come out the house for a while like I did with The Strangers. I mean, guys, that one really got me. I actually was home alone a few days after that, and I was staying with my Nana, and she left to go to a sorority meeting, and I seen like a truck that actually kind of resembled the one in The Strangers. So the first thing your boy did was run under his grandma's bed and get on the phone, call her, interrupt the sorority meeting. They were probably playing bingo or something, I don't know. But made her come home. So yeah, that one really struck with me. So, however, I wouldn't say horror is my favorite genre movie. Comedy is, but you know, there's just something about sitting in that seat and ooh, you know, with that horror movie is like, I don't know. Comedy, I mean, it's always a feel good, but horror just does something to me, so I'm always quick to go fill a seat in that one. So spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I just wanted to give a quick review of the movie and tell you guys like my opinion on it. Just a quick little scene by scene, not a scene by scene, but just a play by play, you know, summary. So it starts off with a girl named Tess, and it's raining, and she gets to this house that she's like booked on an Airbnb, and it's occupied by our boy Keith, who is played by Bill Skarsgård, and he's like, oh, well, I booked it on, you know, House Hopper. So she says, oh, well, this sucks, and he says, okay, well, we can fix it, just stay here for the night. Rule 101, if that's the case, please don't stay there overnight. Please, that is the iceberg tip. Please, you just don't stay, please. Anyway, she pushes on. She thinks it's weird, and she stays, but before she goes to sleep, comes to find out that the reason why they're in the same city and at the same house with the Airbnb is because he's there for some scouring of a city, and she's there because she's supposed to be interviewing the group of people that are actually his people. So they sit down, enjoy wine, and he sleeps on the couch that night, and she sleeps in the bedroom, locks the door, supposedly. There's a noise. She wakes up. The door's open, and she walks out there, and he's like making these noises. I guess he's like a weird sleeper, yelling, bop, bop, bop. She wakes him up. He didn't do it. She goes back to the room, kind of shooken up, goes back to sleep. The next day, she wakes up, gets ready for her job interview, looks on the table. There's a note. He says, hey, just leave the key in the lockbox. I'll be back. She says, okay. Heads out for her day. Comes back. He's still not there. She does a little bit of exploring in the house and finds out there's a basement. And while she's exploring in the basement, she sees this little room. And when she goes down there, the door to the basement locks behind her. And at this point, she is scared and no one to help her. Keith is gone. And so she starts exploring, and she finds a room inside of the basement that has a bed that is soaked with blood or something brown, and a camera. So now she is shooken up, and she is freaked out. She screams for help and looks for ways out. There's a window. She starts knocking on it. Lo and behold, Keith comes to it. She gets her out. Bada bing. Our girl Tess is all shooken up. She's trying to explain to Keith what she just saw. He's not really getting a grasp on it, so he wants to go see it himself. She says, please don't do it, but you know, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. He goes down there. She stays for some odd reason, I guess just so the door doesn't close on him. And when he goes down there, it's for a way more longer time than he agreed, so she goes right behind him. When Tess goes down there, she's yelling out his name, no response. She yells out his name one more time, and we hear a faint, help, you know, help. So at that point, she follows the voice, and there's another door she goes through. Yeah, guys, there's a lot of doors. And so she follows it down a huge, huge stairwell. She's very scared. She has her cell phone light in her hand, and she's walking down, and she keeps yelling out Keith's name, and there's no response. Traveling further down this hole, she finds Keith crawling up to her, and he's telling her, shh, 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 shh. Nah, he's not like that, but he's like, shh. And she's like, why? He says something bit him. And then we see this huge monstrosity of what looks like a witch, woman, disformed woman witch thing, come over and grab Keith, Bill Skarsgård head, and smash it into the wall. And scene. Next, we cut to this huge highway in California, I'm guessing, and we meet our boy Justin Long, who is playing AJ. Just riding down, enjoying the songs, da-da-da-da-da, tops down, hair's blowing, boom, boom, boom. Then he gets a call from his producer, and she's letting him know that he is getting faced with a rape allegation with a woman that's on this pilot that he was actually the star of. So now AJ is getting fired, theoretically, and he needs to make money because he, I guess, has got a huge spending habit is what his money manager told him, and he needs to go liquidate his properties. And guess what? One of the properties he owns is the one that Tess and Keith were in. Shocker. When AJ makes it back to, I think it was Detroit, he stays in the house, and when he goes around the house, he's noticing all these like toiletries, clothes, bags, and everything that were Keith and Tess's. And he's trying to wonder who's leaving this stuff here, so he calls one of his realty managers, and he's asking, hey, was anybody here? The realty manager had no recollection of Tess or Keith booking any of those dates that they booked previously. AJ, being a money hungry or kind of a money desperate actor, goes around the house trying to put it up on Zelle or one of those like listing websites. He's trying to milk the cow in a way and get all the square footage of the house. So he's going through each room, getting a tape measure and going and measuring it off, and he ends up on the basement. He's measuring it off, and he finds the one room that Tess first stumbled upon with the camera in the bed, and he doesn't even pay it any attention. And then he bumps into the door that Keith discovered, and he actually just says, bingo! And he walks right down there, and he's like, this is so much square footage, not knowing what he's actually walking into. While walking through we'll call it the cave of the house, he stumbles upon this room that's playing this video of a woman breastfeeding. And you start to get this idea of like, what's going on down here? Like, what are we like really looking for? Where's that woman deformed witch thing we saw? And that's just not around anymore. And he's kind of investigating the place, but not really worrying about the scary stuff that we see as the audience. At one point, he hears a noise, and it starts to get him freaked out, and he starts running. He falls into this pit. And at that point, we see Tess. She tells him, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. Shh, 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 shh. Some little shush beatboxing for the ASMR fans. Tells him to be quiet. At that point, this gate shuts on top of them. Boom, they're in a kind of a holding cell. The woman deformed witch thing at that point puts a bottle, a huge bottle, nipple and all, in the hole, and pushes it towards Justin Long's face, and then he pushes it towards Georgina Campbell's face. Excuse me. Says nothing, but our girl Tess knows that it means drink, and she's telling him drink, drink, drink. AJ's not going for it. Tess takes one on the chin. She drinks from the bottle. After Tess drinks from the bottle, the woman actually rips the gate off of the hole, pulls AJ from it, like drags him from it, all the way down to the room where he saw the breastfeeding video, and it cuts back to our girl Tess, and she takes that time to escape. She climbs up the little hole wall, and she gets out. Then we see it back to Justin, and he's in the room with the deformed witch woman, and she's trying to breastfeed this man. I mean, full on nursing this dude. Like, he's whining, and she's rubbing his head, and he's like, no, 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 and she's like really nursing this man. And so I don't know if he really latched, but it cuts away at that moment because Tess was running and knocks into AJ's tape measure that he left when he was running and fell into the pit. So that cuts away from the breastfeeding scene, and the woman's on the hunt for Tess. Now, guys, before I continue with this review of the Barbarian movie, I just wanted to quick read an ad that I got sent in to me the other day. It's from a company called Terry's Tires. Yep, it says, is your ride not so neat where you can't make it up the street? Well, make it into Terry's and we'll help you out. Right now, customers will receive a free rim job with every 4 tires purchased, and a 20% discount when you use the code TIP, that's TIP. Yep, you get a free rim job with every 1, 2, 3, 4 tires purchased at Terry's Tire. Go on and down there and give him a look. He'll be happy that Trey sent you. Tell him the Burg sent you. Might give you a little discount too. My air freshener. You never know. Tess gets away. She actually escapes so far as to get out of the house all the way to call the cops. And the cops, the Detroit cops, man, they get a bad rep in this movie. I know they cannot be this bad. Hey, I've never been to Detroit, so I can't really speak about that. But these guys were not trying to give her the time of day. Yeah, she did kind of look a little homeless and a little drugged out, but the girl was, captive for we don't even know how long. They don't even really give a time reference of how long it took for AJ to even come there. These cops are really trying to push her off, and she's like, come on, just come check the place out. Just come check the place out, and I'll leave you alone. The cops follow her back to the house. They inspect it, and they're really trying to actually accuse her of kind of looking like the crazy woman that broke in. She doesn't have any information on why she was at that house at that time. But the cops leave. They don't really help her out, and that was it. So Tess is really there on her own. She doesn't want to leave AJ there, but she knows that she has to do what's right, so she's kind of torn between the two. So while she's doing this, that witch deformed woman thing is kind of like just scouring around the house, and AJ has actually been able to escape her after he was just horribly scarred by that woman. He's walking around actually exploring more through the cave of the house, and he walks up on this door, and at that point the woman comes into view, like he's got a light on him. This lovely medicine intake was brought to you by my girlfriend. So our boy AJ stumbles upon this room in the cave, and he's actually got the woman or witch thing in his sights. She's really not messing with him. She's just backing up from the door like she's scared of what's inside there, so she leaves the light and just goes back into the darkness. So at that point, AJ goes into the room, and he's looking around, and there's all these videotapes and an old TV and just weird little trinkets in this room, and he turns around, and there's this old guy sitting in the bed, who we come to find out is the owner of the house way back in the old days. I mean, so far as I want to say 70s, maybe. It looks 70s. But yeah, this is the owner of the house, the original owner. And he's still living in the cave of the house. He is a sick dude. He records all these bad things that he's done to women over the years. I'm guessing he has tormented them, kept them under their will, and just done really weird things to them over the years. And that's what turns out to be the deformed witch woman in the movie. Now AJ's looking at this guy. He puts in one of the tapes and he plays it. And while he's playing it, the guy is rumbling through this little drawer next to him, and he pulls out a gun. So when AJ turns around and calls this guy, oh, he's a sick son of a bitch, you're a sick guy, da-da-da, the dude just pulls the trigger and bop-ba-doo, you know. Now we switch back to Tess. She has actually escaped the house. She's gone. The cops are not there anymore. She's really just trying to get back there for AJ. She's in the car. She's leaving, and the deformed daughter witch woman comes out, and Tess smashes her with the car between the house and just flattens her out. Gets out the car, shooken up, runs back in there for God knows what reason, because, you know, a movie got a movie. Her and AJ come out of the house. Guess what? Bum, bum, bum. The woman's not there anymore. So now they're scared, and this homeless guy comes out of really nowhere because he's homeless, and says, hey, follow me. I know somewhere we can hide out at. I've been living here for years. I've actually been here since the beginning of this whole thing went on. They say, hey, fuck it, why not? They follow him back to this gated in, not even like a hut or anything. It's just like a fenced in kind of area, like a rectangle. And she's asking, how long has he been here? How long has he been living like this? And he replies with, he's been doing this for 15 years. And guys, when I kid you not, he couldn't even get the sentence out. And the deformed daughter witch woman comes out of nowhere and rips him apart. I'm talking rips his arm off, beats him with it. AJ and Tess, they run off. They are escaping on foot, and they run up to the water tower because, you know, when in doubt, run up. They get to the top of the water tower, and AJ and Tess are really just, oh my God, it's over, it's over. And AJ said, not really. I mean, she kind of likes you more than me. So he looked at Tess and he said, I know how to get us both out of here, but you're going to have to hold her off for a while. And at that point, he grabs Tess by the head and he throws her off of the water tower. The deformed woman witch daughter jumps off, and to save Tess, dives after her and kills herself. AJ, having to be a character in this movie, walks over to Tess and the deformed daughter witch woman, and just when you think they're dead, guess what? Nope! The witch pops up, smashes AJ's head, and that's really the end of the movie. Tess walks off, and just like she did, I walked out of the theater disappointed. I would give this out of 5. I would probably give this a 2.5. Not the worst, not the best. But you Berg and Bergettes, let me know in the comments what's a movie I should really review or what's something I should watch. You guys know I'm on that Lord of the Rings of Power. Shout out to Amazon. Shout out to my boy Jeff Bezos. Another thing, if you guys have any music artists out there, any beat makers, if you guys want to promote your sounds and make an intro for me for the Tip of the Iceberg, shoot an email to the tipoftheiceberg00@gmail.com and we'll definitely get back to you in a timely manner. A saying I want to give you guys going into the next week is, you got to be a disaster before you become the master. Now, I know you all have it in you, and I know I have it in myself. Trust and believe. This week is a new set of rules, new you, and it's only time to be a better you and a better week. So with that, we're out. Appreciate you guys. Till next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, Silk Boys would like to thank you for sticking around for this podcast. Y'all have a great night.